This summer, Bose released the QuietComfort Ultra Earbuds 2nd generation, but it actually wasn't that long ago that they released the 1st generation. If you recall, that actually came out in September of 2023. But now that the new one is out way sooner than we kind of all thought, the question stands: is the 2nd generation that much different than the 1st generation? Well, no. But there are some differences to take note of, and in this video, I'm going to be comparing the Bose QuietComfort Ultra Earbuds Gen 1 to the new 2nd generation so that you can find out which one is right for you, and also go over some of the minor differences that could be a deal breaker or a decision maker for some. First up, let's take a look at the design. It's the same. It's basically the same. There is almost no difference. They both still use that really large bulb design that protrudes out of your ear, where they've got the big capacitive touch surface on the back so that you can control the earbuds. You've got the same ovoid nozzle, which should help fit in your ears properly, and you've got that fin that helps stabilize the earbuds and make sure it doesn't fall out of your ear. Now, I did say that they are almost exactly the same because the 2nd generation does have one difference here, and it is the fact that it now features a wax guard, which should help prevent wax buildup that can negatively affect your listening experience as wax would build up. Basically, this minor design change is going to make it just easier to clean your earbuds. Speaking of which, consider this your reminder to clean your earbuds. There are two even more minor changes here with the 2nd generation. It now comes in deep plum as a limited edition color, so if you are into deep plum, there you go. And you can now turn off the touch controls in the Bose app, which is something you couldn't do with the 1st generation. Huge change. No, but in all seriousness, this is a handy addition to the earbuds because some people did complain that they might accidentally trigger touch controls when they're adjusting their hair or just adjusting the fit of the buds. So it's nice that Bose finally gives you the option. Well, this could have been an email or a firmware update. So overall, when it comes to design, yes, technically the 2nd generation is slightly better because of the wax guard, but honestly, if you have the 1st generation, you're gonna be fine. You're not really missing out so long as you regularly clean your earbuds. Now, when it comes to connectivity and app features, both earbuds perform exactly the same and have the exact same connection options. They both use Bluetooth 5.3 with support for multi-point, so you can connect up to 2 devices simultaneously. They both support the SBC and AAC Bluetooth codecs, and they both have Snapdragon sound, which allows you to use the aptX lossless codec with a compatible Android non-Samsung phone with a Qualcomm chip inside. Both earbuds can be customized using the Bose app. In the app, you get things like a basic 3-band EQ for some sound adjustments there. The app also gives you access to Bose immersive audio, so you can toggle between it being on and on with head tracking if you so desire. You can use the app to customize your shortcuts, you can manage connected devices, and you can also create different presets or modes that toggle between different noise canceling strengths. So again, this round is basically a tie. I mean, it wasn't that big of a change here. That even changed the Bluetooth standard, and they both work fine in terms of connection, and yeah, app features are exactly the same. Battery life. Now, you'd think that with the 2nd generation, Bose would actually find a way to increase the battery life from the 1st gen, but in this case, they did not. In our lab tests, we clocked the 2nd generation at 5 hours and 35 minutes, which is still good. It's going to be good enough for most people. And even after your morning commute, you'll probably just put it in the charging case anyway to recharge. But this playtime that we measured does pale in comparison to the playtime we measured on the original Bose QC Ultra earbuds. Those earbuds we clocked in 6 hours and 11 minutes. So that's about a 30 to 40 minute difference right there. And it's kind of annoying to see, especially, you know, this is the 2nd generation. So don't know why that's the case. But the Ultra 2nd generation does have one trick up its sleeve, and it's the fact that it now supports wireless charging. Like every other flagship true wireless earbuds on the market. Better late than never, I guess. Alright, microphone quality. Now, the Bose QC Ultra 2nd generation is supposed to have this new AI-powered noise suppression system. It's supposed to help with things like background noise rejection and just helping make your voice sound more clear over calls. But during our testing, we didn't really notice that much of a difference in the mic quality between the 2nd generation and the 1st generation, so we wouldn't say that this was really a big highlight feature or a must-have feature that would convince you to upgrade. it's okay. Both microphones are going to be more than good enough for a phone call, but it doesn't perform as well as the mics on something like the AirPods Pro 2. But if you want to hear the microphones of these two earbuds for yourself, then I highly encourage you to go to our website where we have our full suite of microphone tests. And in those tests, we played a bunch of voices in different simulated environments, so you can see how the mics are able to pick that up. So again, just go to the website, you can check that out for yourself. But suffice it to say, in terms of microphone quality, it's pretty much a toss-up here. It's a tie. It sounds pretty much the same. No big noticeable difference from our end. All right, active noise cancellation. Now, second gen always means better, right? Sort of, sort of, not really. The biggest change that Bose made with the second generation's ANC system is the fact that the active sense experience is now better on the second gen. When you're using aware modes or transparency mode, the active sense algorithm is supposed to sound better. Changes between ANC levels are supposed to sound smoother in your ear, and this is especially true for sudden spikes of noise. So if like a train passes by or you hear a siren in the distance that's just sudden and loud, the ANC system should sound smoother transitioning from a higher level of ANC to lower. But besides that, our lab tests showed that the ANC performs pretty much the same between the first and second gen, reducing the loudness of outside noise by an average of 85%, which is really good for a flagship earbud, but definitely not a massive change compared to the first generation. So Bose does know a thing or two about ANC, just don't expect anything groundbreakingly different about the ANC performance with the second gen. So technically here, the round goes to the Gen 2 because of the improved active sense performance, but from day-to-day use, it's gonna perform pretty much the same as the first generation. All right, sound quality, what's changed? Well, not much. Do you see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern here? Because I see a pattern here. In our labs, we found that both of these earbuds are tuned pretty much the same, with a significant overemphasis in the bass and treble region. And while this might be great for people who love bass house, hard techno, or any of those bass-heavy genres, this kind of tuning does cause instruments like pianos playing in middle C, or voices to sound a little quieter or less detailed than you might be used to. Now personally, I'm not a fan of the tuning of the Bose QC Ultra Earbuds, and if I were you, I would probably be going into the EQ and trying to adjust the bass and treble sliders to taste. However, looking at Head Acoustics multi-dimensional audio quality scores, both of these earbuds scored very well in the test. And this tells us that a large number of casual listeners will probably enjoy the sound of these earbuds out of the box. Now just remember that sound is ultimately subjective, and what I like may not necessarily be what you like, but what we can say is at least that both these Bose earbuds don't sound bad. They're not awful. In fact, we'd say that they sound good, and there is a very good chance you may enjoy how these sound out of the box. But again, looking at this tuning might not suit everybody if you're not a big bass head. So just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. These are not outright bad earbuds. Listen to them first at the store if you can, before you make a decision. Now you'll notice that in the MDAX scores, the second generation Bose earbuds did score higher overall on a scale of 1 to 5, and it also had a higher score for immersiveness and distortion. And while it would just be easier for me to say that, oh, it's clear that the Bose QuietComfort Ultra Earbuds second generation sounds better, it's not entirely the case. What we can tell from these scores is that both will sound good. You are likely to enjoy how these sound out of the box. However, these differences in scores aren't gonna really be audible to casual listeners. You're probably not gonna notice the difference in distortion and immersiveness between the two earbuds. All right, the question still stands. Is the Bose QC Ultra Earbuds 2 better than the first generation? Yes, but not by a lot. There really isn't a big enough reason for me to go out and tell people, hey, the second generation is way better than the first, because it's not that much better. It's a very iterative update. It's kind of boring, like my colleague Chris said in his full review. ANC performance is pretty much the same. Sound quality is pretty much the same as the last gen. Connection options, Bluetooth standards, and overall design are pretty much the same. So if you were thinking about upgrading from the first to second gen, I'd honestly say don't. You're not really missing much here. The only time I'd tell you to buy the Bose QuietComfort Ultra Earbuds Gen 2 is if your current model is broken and you really like the Bose Ultra Earbuds. I'd highly recommend just going on Amazon or going online to different retailers and trying to see if you can snag the Bose QuietComfort Ultra first generation on sale, which is more likely to happen now because, you know, the second generation one is out. But if you're convinced that Bose isn't for you, then I highly recommend checking out our list of the best true wireless earbuds you can buy right now.